Listen, man, when RB gets out of bed at midnight in the middle of June to talk about the 76ers, you know something big is going down. Everybody's going to let this sit and marinate. I could not go to bed before I get the thoughts off my chest. All right, everything's spiraling. My brain is moving right now, and we have breaking news. And I think one of two or three things is going on. So we are going to get into it. Welcome into Philly Take with RB. Just a few moments ago, I mean, all this news is coming out tonight. I don't know why they're putting stuff out at midnight. But Jonathan Givony of ESPN, Draft Express, the guy who's been in tap with everything as of late related to the draft, puts this out on Twitter. Rutgers star Ace Bailey has canceled his workout with the 76ers, sources told ESPN. He was scheduled to meet with the Sixers tomorrow or today now, Thursday, and he was going to work out with the team Friday. Ace Bailey now remains the only U.S.-based prospect that is yet to visit and work out with any NBA teams. The Sixers have not ruled out selecting Ace Bailey, sources say. He follows up with this. It's worth noting that Daryl Morey has selected several players in the past without a private workout, including Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. The Sixers scouted Rutgers extensively all season and interviewed him in Chicago. They could very well still select Ace Bailey at 3. So according to Jonathan Givony, the hopes are still alive, but I am going to go back and extend on what I said in yesterday's video. If you have not checked that out, I highly recommend you do so. But here is the summarized version, okay? Ace Bailey, in my opinion, is receiving bad advice from those around him. There are a couple possibilities. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but based on everything we've heard, from Ace Bailey falling in the draft to, his agent wanting to do on-camera interviews and get paid for them, and then, not meeting with any teams at all. Like, my thing is, even if you were given a guarantee, right? Ace's camp says, we want to go in the top 3. Ace is a top 3 prospect. Cool, fine. Even if you get a guarantee from the Sixers or the Spurs, Hornets, whatever it is, why would you not go work out with that team? Do you think you are above everybody else? Do you think that it's not worth it to go and meet those individuals in person? Or are you scared maybe of them finding something in your game that's not going to live up to what you're saying it is? You see what I mean? That does not make sense. They had the hotel, the flights, the dinners, everything set up for Ace Bailey. And now they have canceled one day before. Jason Dumas says, according to a source, Ace was seeking a promise from the Sixers prior to committing to a meeting. That meeting appears to be unlikely now. There has been a lot of posturing for weeks now with the Sixers unsuccessfully making attempts to get Ace in the building. Are you kidding me? Look, I really like Ace. I still would select him based on talent, but the way that his camp is handling this whole thing is ridiculous. Like, you are not above every other prospect and every player in the league. Like, I'm starting to get these vibes where it's like, well, he's too good. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. What's going to happen come a contract negotiation? Is he going to actually sign his rookie contract? You see what I mean? I don't like the way this is rubbing off on everybody. And to double down on what I said in yesterday's video, I am the only person that actually went and did some deep diving on this entire situation, and I think I found why this is happening. In short, Ace Bailey is represented by Omar Cooper, who is the father of Sharif Cooper. If you remember, he fell in the draft a couple years ago to the second round, and Omar Cooper does not have a high profile of representing NBA clients. He does represent some WNBA clients. He has done some really good things with his AAU team called Athletes of Tomorrow, based in Georgia, but there's a lot of ties there. Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper played there with some former NBA talent. They played there with his son. So it seems like they're very buddy-buddy. So in short, instead of going to one of, let's say, the top 3 or 5 big agencies, Ace Bailey is being represented by someone that, quite frankly, just does not have a lot of experience with players at the NBA level. So honestly, and based on what we've heard about Omar Cooper wanting to get paid now for, on-camera interviews and things like that, I'm starting to feel that Ace just does not have the right voices as of right now. And no shade thrown towards Omar Cooper. I'm just giving my opinion from the outside. Maybe I don't have all the information, but that's how it's coming off to me. And it really sucks that Ace Bailey, a really high touted prospect who has a really good chance of making a lot of money and a great career for himself, is going to fall in the top 10 in the NBA draft because he's not getting the right input from those around him. I mean, if I was Ace Bailey, I would want to go meet the team. I would want to go work out for them, meet the coaches, meet some of the other players. I mean, you even heard how Tyrese Maxey flew in to work out with VJ Edgecombe and to meet him and things like that. What are we doing here? What are we doing? The Sixers have tried to reiterate that they have interest in Ace Bailey, but this guy's team will not come to Philly and even meet them. So at that point, is it worth it? It really sucks because I feel like from a fit perspective, he would be a really good talent here. But at this point, when you think about the flip side and you think about everything they've heard with, VJ Edgecombe and his great personality and the way that he fit in and met with the Sixers leadership and was very mature about the whole thing, it kind of feels like they're leaning towards VJ. And then earlier tonight before this report, we get a big bomb article from Jake Fisher and Mark Stein, who have been putting stuff out throughout the last couple weeks. And they say, despite the earlier reports today, which were like throwing Paul George out there and a Utah Jazz trade, things like that, despite all those reports, the Sixers are planning to give Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey another shot to contend for a championship. And everything we've heard the last couple weeks about VJ kind of speaks to that as well, right? So to me, this is more confirmation. The Sixers are running it back. Daryl Morey already wanted to add the more win now type of piece, a guy who can probably plug in day one and find that niche role and carve it out for himself and be productive right away in VJ Edgecombe. But these reports tell me that they're even going to double down on it more. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what I think is going to happen. I think the Ace Bailey dream is dead. Maybe I will be proven wrong tomorrow. Maybe more stuff will come out. But by all indications, and it was even confirmed by Shams Charania, the Sixers will not be working out Ace Bailey anymore. His team has canceled the workout. They are not visiting Philadelphia. And so far, VJ has been the only guy that has met with Philadelphia in person. Now, Con Knuppel did say he has a Zoom interview scheduled with Philly later this week, but Zoom interview, I mean, what are you going to learn there, right? You want to bring these guys in and have them in for workouts, and it just is starting to feel like it's VJ all the way. Lastly, Jake Fisher said this: the Sixers are reportedly still trying to move up a spot to get to number 2, but San Antonio continues to convey that it plans to hold on to the number 2 overall pick for the widely expected selection of Rutgers' Dylan Harper. So the Spurs are sold on Dylan Harper. The Sixers are trying to move up and get him. We heard that earlier this week, but honestly, at this point, it's not going to happen, and the Sixers probably just have to let it go unless they were willing to go way over the edge. And honestly, I don't think it's worth it to give up, let's say a couple first-round picks in the future, or whatever it's going to take. You have to save those draft picks. Honestly, at this point, and I want to end it off with this before I go to sleep, and I want to know what you think down below. Yes, VJ is a highly touted prospect, and they've worked him out, and they love him, and this and that. Would you be opposed to trading back a couple slots? Like, instead of giving up picks to try to move up, what if they move back, let's say, a couple spots? They might not get VJ. Maybe they'll get, I don't know, Con Knuppel or Trey Johnson or Milo Watch, whoever it is. What if they get more draft picks, whether it's in this draft or next year, right? We talked about the Wizards, who have 6 and 18. We talked about the Pelicans, who just made a trade yesterday with the Pacers. Now they have 7 and 23. Would you do that? Would you try to get a couple more picks? I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, if I'm being completely honest. But if they stick at 3 and they take VJ, I think he will be a player that can impact winning. I still think he's a supercharged role player. That's not to say he can't turn into a top-level player one day, but there's just certain things I look at that I think are limited, and I don't know if he can take it to that level. I hope he can, but the Sixers seem like they're going to draft another guard at number 3. So give me your thoughts down below. There were more reports that came out saying the Sixers probably will not be able to sign Yabusele, and they're going to have to try to bring back Grimes. They're going to be around that second apron. So lots of complications here, but I think this could be the final nail in the coffin, and the Ace Bailey dream to Philly might be over. Give me your thoughts and reactions down below. Appreciate you all tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.